Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everybody. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the absolute invasion now of the United Kingdom. I have got a short video I want to share with you guys. We're going to be talking about the Epstein files, the royal family, and how this is going to ultimately lead to a United States takeover of the United Kingdom. Before we get into this, guys, look, I've just seen some scenes here. I will be sharing this. This is from GB News. They posted a video 30 minutes ago. I'm going to share this video with you guys. Before we get on to this, I didn't realize the absolute industrialization of this problem that we're facing in the United Kingdom. Yes, of course, I've seen all the videos. I've seen the, I've seen the migrants on the beaches running on with the boats. I've seen the French authorities appearing to help them brought over. I've done videos about the how I don't see any other way that the government cannot be involved in this. You know, if we've got that situation whereby the government in the United Kingdom, once those rubber dinghies get to the UK, if the government are then cleaning them off, drying them out, and sending them back over to France, I don't know how anyone can argue that the government in the UK are not complicit. I don't know how anyone can argue on that, guys, okay? We've seen the issues with the life jackets now, the French authorities asking for life jackets back off the British authorities. If that's not governmental, what's the word I'm looking for? If that's not government collaboration, if that's not government collaboration between two governments to bring migrants to the United Kingdom, I don't know what is. And look, the real problem here, ladies and gentlemen, the real problem here is, everybody's wanting everybody's wanting X, Y, and Z. Oh, if we pass this law, if we pass this legislation, oh, let's do this. None of it matters, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing that we need in the United Kingdom right now is the legal framework to protect ourselves. We need something in the United Kingdom like the Second Amendment in the United States, whereby everybody can protect themselves against tyrannical government. Without that, we have nothing. With that, we deal with the problems ourselves, because ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to deal with this problem ourselves, whether we like it or not. Whether you think the police or the military or somebody else, they're not. We're going to have to deal with this problem ourselves. And the only way to do that is to get that legal framework. Right, listen, guys, let me just share this video with you guys. I'm going to share this video. I will be sharing this on... YouTube. You guys, we are triple streaming, guys. We are on TikTok, YouTube, and X. For you guys on TikTok, I will be closing you guys down shortly. I will then just be streaming on YouTube and X. Two reasons. One, I get restricted all the time on when I'm streaming on TikTok. So I just use it to because I don't want to leave you guys out. I don't want you guys on TikTok to think I'm not I don't care, because I do. I love you guys on TikTok. The reality is the algorithm is really restrictive. So I will be closing you guys down on TikTok shortly, and I will just be streaming on YouTube. And if you've not followed me over there, guys, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube, and I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. And the other reason is I can't drink coffee while I'm streaming on TikTok, because the algorithm restricts me and it just kicks me down. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me just share this video with you guys now, and you'll see what I mean. You guys are going to see what I mean when I talk about the industrialization of the invasion right now. So I'll share this video. I'll try to keep the stops to a minimum. Guys, can you let me know how the sound quality is as well on you guys on YouTube? Can you let me know how the sound quality is?
Well, the most damning evidence yet of the way in which these migrants are just wandering about unchallenged by the French police. Let's show you our first sequence of videos. Now, you can see that these videos were taken in various locations in Gravelines, which is near one of the main beach stops where the boats launch from, also in Grand Fort Philippe and down in Calais as well. You can see this is broad daylight as these mines.
Right, look, guys, if you're on YouTube, just look at this image here. If you guys are on YouTube now, just look at this image, right? Okay. Tell me that that is not an industrialization. Tell me that's not industrialization. This is not just this is what we're looking at here, guys, is not just a few people turning up on the shores, desperate. These are people being helped with government assistance. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Literally, tell me I'm wrong when you're looking at that image. You know, is there any other explanation?
Migrants, some wearing the life jackets, others clearly openly carrying them, are just wandering about, completely unchallenged. One senior maritime source that we spoke to said the very least the police should be doing is stopping them and confiscating these life jackets, because if
guys, I literally called this 6 months ago, maybe even longer. 6 months ago, I did a video for you guys. It was for you guys. It was for you fantastic guys on TikTok. I did a video and I was saying, look, these life jackets are going to be key. People need to investigate where these life jackets are coming from. And I would speculate. You know what, guys? I'm going to throw this out there. This is wild speculation. While I'm on TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes. But I'm going to speculate for entertainment purposes only, that if you follow that money back where those life jackets come from, I would speculate that these life jackets are being funded by the British taxpayer.
effectively these life jackets are enabling the illegal migration across.
Jesus, look at that. Look at that, guys. I had no idea the depths of this problem. Like, you get the numbers, you understand the numbers that are coming over on the boats, but just honestly, like, look at that image. Look at those images, guys. Tell me that is, guys, can anybody tell me that that is not an industrialized invasion?
The English Channel. Look at this, just wandering large groups.
Look.
Of them down the streets, completely unchallenged. And it's not just the fact that police are not intervening to confiscate these, to detain them, find out what their immigration status is. It's also about the increasing levels of criminality and disorder in town centres. Let's show you this next piece of video that shows just what local residents are having to put up with.
Wow. Can you imagine that? So, well, let's just let the video play.
It's like a football crowd.
Yeah, no, it is, absolutely. This is the early hours of the morning in the town of Gravelines, just a mile or so from the beach. This is a group of migrants who had been unable to launch their boat across to the UK. They're then chanting Allahu Akbar and clashing with the police here in Gravelines.
So did you hear that, guys? So what he's saying there is these a group, well, I'll repeat what he's saying. I'm not speculating, I'm repeating what he's saying. So he's saying a group of migrants tried to cross the water. They weren't allowed. I don't know, maybe it was weather, maybe the beach master's like, yeah, no go today, guys. Weather's stage 6. Weather, we'll come back. Yeah, maybe there is a beach master. So they're in this town now, this northern French town. They're cruising through the streets, chanting Allahu Akbar and clashing with the police. You know, sounds legit.
And local residents are, absolutely terrorised. They told us that they feel completely besieged by what is going on.
Besieged. I think that's a good word, besieged, because we feel besieged in the United Kingdom, and all these people ultimately are trying to make their way to the United Kingdom.
On there almost nightly the disorder that's taking place in towns like Gravelines with these large groups that are not just clashing with the police, but they're targeting local residents as well. They're smashing up cars, local beach huts, there's graffiti everywhere. Crime rates have soared in the areas around Gravelines.
Right, guys, does this sound like an invasion to you? Does this sound like an invasion? What do you think? Do you think this is an invasion, or do you think these are peaceful? Do you think these are peaceful people trying to flee persecution in their town, and they want to start and I just want to start and it's so bad where I come from. I just want to be looked after. I want to be loved. I want to feel love. Let me come. I'm so good. Do these look like good people?
Calais, Dunkirk.
So why aren't the French police clamping down on this, Mark? I mean, we've sent them how many millions of pounds? Hundreds of millions.
To some extent they are. I mean, you can see from the nighttime shots, they are challenging them in this disorder in the town centre. But then couple that with the fact that any other time, they're just allowed to wander free, unchallenged in any way by the local authorities.
So I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I will be sharing that video again later on. I just, seeing that, seeing those videos. Oh, let me put the chat on. Sorry, guys. Like seeing those images, guys. That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Right now, let me give you guys a little scenario real quick, and then listen, guys. You guys on TikTok. I am gonna be Mozza King. Guys, hang on. People are trying to join. I don't know how to turn the thing off. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys on TikTok, I will be closing you guys down shortly, and I will just be streaming on YouTube and X. Do you know what? I might let one of people keep asking me to. Right, okay. So just imagine, guys, okay? Literally, just imagine right now. Imagine it. Let me paint this picture for you, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Imagine it now, okay? The 2002, all right? 2002. Tony Blair and George Bush Jr., Boy Bush, are planning. Just go with it, guys. Go with it. This is not a tactically perfect scenario. Okay, it's just like a little thought experiment. So George Bush Jr. and Tony Blair, they sat there in the office and they're planning the invasion of Iraq. Let's just say they're planning the invasion of Iraq, and and they're saying, well, here, Tony, we're gonna need a lot of helicopters and C-130 aircraft to bring our U.S. Marines in to form a beachhead. And then Tony Blair saying, oh, yes, well, we do have a Royal Marine contingent as well that are more than capable to take a beachhead, but we lack the logistic support to be able to sustain them for more than 72 hours. Well, you know what, Tony? We got a lot of logistics ourselves. We got a lot of aircraft. So what we're going to do, we'll make these first beachheads. We're going to take a lot of losses, but we're going to bring those U.S. Marines in, and we're going to secure a beachhead. I know it wasn't a beachhead, guys, but for the example, well, there is a beach actually in Unkazar. Anyway, but they're planning this they're planning the invasion of Iraq, all right? What about they just stopped? They said, hang on a minute. Whoa. What if Tony Blair just said, George, I've got a crazy idea, but it might just work. What's that, Tony? What's your crazy idea, buddy? What's your crazy idea? Well, how about rather than send our Marines in with full force and artillery support and naval support, which I'm not going to lie is rather costly. It's rather costly, and we're good, and we will have a large human toll on that. And it doesn't look very good on our media if we send boys back in body bags. No, it doesn't. Here's a dastardly plan, and it's so crazy it might just work. What is it, Tony? Come on, little Tony. I ain't got all day. Why don't we just send our Marines in civilian clothes as refugees? What do you mean? Well, we'll send them on the shores, and then we'll get the Iraqi government to put them up in hotels and give them 3 meals a day. And as soon as we've reached our saturation point, then we'll get them to fight. God damn it, Tony, this is why you're my friend. Let's get that wrote into U.S. military doctrine and let's do that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine it, guys? Look, and I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just giving you guys an example of how phenomenal it would be if, as a military operation, rather than, and this is what, people laugh. People don't understand asymmetric warfare. They don't, I talk about asymmetric warfare, non-conventional. Let me move that camera a little bit because I'm just conscious you guys on TikTok are missing some of my beautiful face. Right, there we go. So can you imagine rather than 1962 at the end of the Cold War, well, the end of the Cuban Missile Crisis, I guess. 1962 at the end of the Cuban Missile Crisis. If the bad guys said, right, look, we can't fight these people conventionally. It's a lose. It's not a win for us. So rather than invest all this time, money, effort, resources into green warfare, they go asymmetric. And ladies and gentlemen, asymmetric warfare is here. And I'm going to speculate that this is an asymmetric invasion. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, look, the video I shared with you guys yesterday, the video I shared, was it yesterday? I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. It may have even been the day before. The video I shared with you guys where there's the Russian soldiers and they're all in civilian clothes, in civilian cars, and it looks like Mad Max. Yeah? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? That is the reality of modern warfare now. That is it. It's a numbers game, guys. Numbers, cost, resources, resupply. You don't need to do any of that if you're doing asymmetric warfare. Right, you guys go pillage your way through that city, take what you want. Oh, right. That's the incentive. Do you think that these people that are in, do you think that these people who come from in fact, hang on, guys, I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to get I don't want to get this live stream banned. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys on TikTok, I will be closing you guys down in I don't know. I'll close you guys down in 6 minutes on TikTok, and then I will just be streaming on YouTube. I'll just be streaming on X. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to run through what we're talking about today real quick. I'm then going to close TikTok down, and I will just be streaming on YouTube and X. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to open up a little bit more about asymmetric warfare, different cultures, different tactics, the way of life in different cultures as well. And if I say that while I'm on TikTok, guys, I'll just get the live stream banned. And, I don't want to keep getting banned all the time. It's kind of annoying me. So the EPTEIN files have been released. Well, not all of them. And look, guys, last week or whenever it was, whenever Andy Prince turned from, whenever Prince Andy turned from Prince Andy, to Andy Windsor, whenever that was, I did a video to you guys and I said, look, this is just, I see something really big coming. I'm going to explore that a little bit further because you kind of reach a spot, don't you? You kind of reach a spot where we all accept there's some bad stuff being going on involving kids. But that's as far as you take it. I want to take this a little bit further, and I want to explore the why. I want to explore why. I want to explore why Epstein had a massive influence in the scientific community. I want to explore, did Project MK Ultra really stop, or did it just continue? And I want to talk about the royal family and how the royal family, I don't feel they can survive this, guys. I really don't feel like they can survive this, even though Andy Windsor is now, Prince Andrew is now Andy Windsor, we've all seen images and pictures of King Charles, with Jimmy Savile. We've all seen that. We've all seen those pictures. Like, you can't deny you've seen that, not seen those pictures. Again, it may be AI, maybe regenerative, whatever, I don't know. But we've all seen those pictures. Nobody's denying those pictures. Nobody's denying the relationship. Nobody's denying the relationship between then Prince, what's his name? Sorry, guys. It feels weird saying King Charles. Nobody's denying the relationship between King Charles and Jimmy Savile. Nobody's denying that, guys. Absolutely nobody. And then ultimately, this is moving on to, this is going to lead towards the United States takeover of the United Kingdom. And I, for one, do welcome that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're going to be talking about. You guys on TikTok, I'm going to be closing you guys down very soon. Look, all these problems, all these crazy problems, all right? All these crazy problems, they all get solved if we get that legal framework to protect ourselves. I'm not talking about self-defense. I'm talking about on a national level. Because what happens, do you know what happens when we get that legal framework to protect it? Right now, take the Epping Hotel, not the Epping Hotel, what's it called? The Bell Hotel in Epping. Bell Hotel in Epping. That is a perfect, you know how I give you guys the example of the firstborn child having to go away? The Bell Hotel is a better example, actually, because it's real. That is a real example of what I've been talking about. We have no way to protect ourselves from the government. We have no way to oppose the government. So if the government, through a series of, and I'm not saying there are corrupt judges, I'm not. I'm just saying if the government have a series of corrupt judges, and I'm not saying they are, guys, I don't want to get Lucy Conley, I'm just saying if. So if the government did have a series of corrupt judges, I don't know, that was all part of their own, like a little secret society or something, and they had a dastardly plan to do X, Y, and Z, let me know what you think in the comments. And they passed the law through, and the gavel went down. I think I need a gavel, you know, and the gavel went down. We have no way of resisting that. Now, the example I always give is the firstborn child, the government passed a law. So a better example now, because it's real, is, and it doesn't really matter, the why, it doesn't really matter. The Bell Hotel in Epping is the best example now, because it's real. So you've got a situation where the people of that town wanted that hotel closed unanimously. All the councillors, you know, so like if you're from the United States, they'll be like, I don't know, state politicians, or I don't know. All the councillors wanted that hotel closed. Clearly, the people wanted it closed. Their member of parliament wanted it closed. So that to me is unanimous. Everybody wants it closed. Everybody. They all voted for it. They agreed. They all voted in the council have all voted. Yeah, we need to close this hotel. Turns out the government say no, you can't close that hotel. So now what? So that's on the micro, relatively micro. What about on the macro, guys? What about on the macro scale when the government challenges, where the government say, right, we have no legal framework to oppose that. The people of Epping now have no legal framework. And everybody are being ridiculous. Honestly, guys, there is some absolute buffoonery going on from some really high-class minds. Oh, we need to pass this law. We need to pass this legislation. We need to do this. We need to do this. People are not thinking big enough. We can deal with our own problems if we get the legal rights. And that's what we need, guys. As soon as we get that legal justification, we can protect ourselves. I can certainly protect myself. Right, listen, you guys on TikTok, I am going to close you guys down now. Thank you for hanging out with me on TikTok, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm going to have to close you down. I want to open up. Martin Quinn is saying there's a lot of weird shake going on in the United Kingdom at the moment. There is indeed, buddy. There is indeed. So I'm going to close you guys down now on TikTok. If you don't... I'm going to be just streaming on YouTube and X. I'm the Real Raven One on YouTube, and I'm the Real Raven One on X. And Martin is saying next week when it starts to snow, think of all those military veterans. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna talk about this real quick, guys. Martin is saying, Martin on TikTok is saying, when it starts to snow next, well, I don't know if it's gonna snow, but I know what you mean. The weather's getting cold. Think of all the military veterans that are homeless. Hello, morning, Lisu. I watched the video the other day, and it was so 2025 in the United Kingdom. There was, I think it was London. There was there was a homeless person. I think there was two of them actually. They were sleeping in the doorway. Guys, I fucking swear to God, this absolutely broke me. There was two homeless people sleeping in a doorway to a migrant hotel, and they were British. Somebody went and spoke to them. They were right Cockney geezers. Yeah, they were Cockney geezers. No, they were homeless, and there were migrants stepping over them to get into their hotel. And I was like, wow. Wow, that is phenomenal. That is so 2025 in the United Kingdom. Right, guys, I'm going to close you guys down now. I will be... We're getting serious solar flares. It normally snows afterwards. Oh, right. I didn't know that, Martin. Look, guys, you guys on TikTok, I'm going to close you down because I want to open up a little bit and talk about different cultures. And I'll just get the live stream banned on TikTok. And also, I want to drink my coffee. So I'm going to close you guys down now. If you're not jumping over to YouTube, I'll be back on later this evening. I'll be back on at 8 or just before. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys later. Are you right? I've not turned it. Have I turned? I'm trying to turn. Yeah, we're off. We're off. Right, we are off. So we are just streaming on TikTok, YouTube now, guys. Right. So the invasion of the United Kingdom, the industrialized invasion of the UK, and I can caffeinate myself now. Let me give this a little stir. Good morning, everyone. Right, let me jump up and get the chat, guys. Good morning, everyone. I do apologize. I've been monologuing for almost half an hour. Right, good morning, everyone. God's little helper was first. He's saying, good morning, Vietnam. Hello to all in the chat. And Sean. Anna Couloris. Anna Couloris, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Donna, Debbie Doobs, Lincolnshire Templar. Guys, there's lots of people on the chat. I'm just going to jump to in fact, Sharon is saying... Sharon Owen is saying they're not even telling you the right numbers. A veteran who lives in Dover was filming it. I used to be, I probably know him, Sharon. I know lots of veterans who live in Dover. I used to be stationed in Dover. Sharon Owen is saying they're not even telling you the right numbers. A veteran who lives in Dover was filming and telling everyone how many that was coming over. And the police and media, and the police stopped him on social media. Strength in numbers, and that number is rising daily. We are fooked. We are, but we don't have to be. We don't have to be. You know, as soon as, literally, you know, as soon as somebody, you know, with a lot bigger platform than me can start raising this awareness, what legal protect, you know, all this legislation that people are trying to pass, and, you know, legal firms are doing, let's pass this legislation. It's all bullshit, guys. It's all bullshit. Ultimately, at some point, like, I'll share with you guys that video again in a second. But if you look at the scenes on that video, guys, that's an asymmetric invasion. You know, I know quite a lot about asymmetric warfare, and that is an asymmetric invasion. They're literally, you know, they're destroying Western culture. DeMarie is saying, I also read an article from a French paper that said people can't sell their houses because, yeah, who would want to live there? Literally, who would want to live there? Donna is saying, we are overrun. We have no means to protect ourselves or our property. We can't say a word. Then the race card is pulled. The whole system is a joke. They wonder why so many people get attacked. Like, you know, I think it was in the summer. I think it was in the summer. Can you remember in the summer, and I didn't know this, but can you remember in the summer when and look, guys, I really want to talk about aliens and alternate dimensions and, you know, Project Looking Glass and, you know, that's what I want to talk about. But here we are. You know, these are the pressing matters of the day. Can you guys remember this summer when it was this summer when the migrant from the hotel just walked into a woman's house? I think he followed her back. And we're seeing these images, aren't we? We're seeing this more and more, you know, migrants following girls back after a night out, you know, stabby on the street, stabby in the bus stop, stabby, runny. And one of the things that were like absolutely like astounded me, I was like, my mind was blown. Honestly, guys, my mind was blown. If somebody enters your house, you know, somebody walks into your house, it's not illegal. There's no law against it. There is no law against somebody walking into your house. No law. And I'm like, what? And it turns out that if you live in the United Kingdom, anybody can walk into your house and it's not illegal. It's a civil matter. It's just trespass. Do you understand where we are, guys? In the United States, they have something called the Stand Your Ground law. In fact, let me get this up. In fact, I shared a video on X about this before. Here we are, guys. Here we are. So I'm going to share this with you, and this would get me. This sort of stuff would get me banned, or well, not banned. It would get me. It would get. Yeah, do you know what? It probably would get me banned on TikTok, actually. So I'm going to share this with you guys now. So this is the Stand Your Ground law in the United States. I don't know if you guys can read that. I'll read it out to you. So this is Stand Your Ground law in the United States. Stand Your Ground laws are state-level laws that allow a person to use deadly force in self-defense without having to retreat, even in public spaces where they are lawfully present. They expand upon the traditional castle doctrine, which only applies to defending one's home. While proponents argue these laws are protect citizens from harm and deter criminals, critics contend they can lead to an increased violence and disproportionately affect racial minorities. I mean, are they saying they disproportionately affect racial minorities because racial minorities are more likely to commit crime? So the Stand Your Ground law in the United States, and listen, guys, if there's anybody in America, let me know. So remember now, in America, people are allowed to be armed, so people get guns in America. You know, the Stand Your Ground law allows a person to use deadly force in self-defense without having to retreat. So basically, if you're stood in a grocery store and somebody comes in to try and rob it, and you feel like you're under threat, you can smoke that fool. You can give him a 9mm paracetamol with no water. So what do you think that does in those states that those laws are applicable? Also, this castle law here, where is it? So the castle doctrine. They expand upon the traditional castle doctrine, which only applies to defending one's home. So as I understand it, you can use, in the United States, you can use deadly force to protect your home. Do you know what you get to do in the United Kingdom? Can you see the difference here? Can you see why I get so, can you guys see why I get so, like, hung up about these things? So in the United States, if somebody enters your home illegally, you're allowed to use deadly force. Seems fair to me. That seems fair. Somebody tries breaking into your home, it seems fair to me that you're allowed to defend yourself. You're allowed to defend your home. In the United Kingdom, if somebody comes in your home, it's trespass. And you have to then, file a civil lawsuit against them. Do you see how we're fucked, guys? Do you see how, if we had these legal systems that they have in the United States, then we would be able to sort our shit out ourselves. But we don't. In fact, hang on, let me find a video for you. I shared a video on... hang on, let me try and find this. Give me a second. Right. How do I get my home? How do I find I don't even know how to find my profile on X. Right. I don't even know how to do it, guys. I don't know. Right. I shared a video on X a while back, yesterday. They were black kids. These 3 black kids broke into a guy's house in America. They like kicked his door in. They broke into his house. He smoked all 3 of those fools. Send them to meet their maker. Done. Job done. And it was funny. It was funny because there was a woman saying, she was crying. She was going, "Oh, my son only tried to rob you and you shot him." I'm like, do you realize what you're saying? Do you realize what you're saying? But listen, if there's any criminals and you don't want to be in America, you don't want to get shot for robbing somebody's house, come to the United Kingdom, because if you go into people's houses in the United Kingdom, we can't even phone the police because it's a civil matter. Hello? Yes. There's 3 people in my house. They don't speak English. They're speaking some African language. Oh, well, it's not actually a criminal matter. You'll have to ring 101. Right, okay. We are experiencing high call volume at this time. Please visit our website at www.reportercrime.com. Right, okay. Hang on a minute, guys. What? Oh, you shout? Why are you shout? Yeah, they're sharpening. Yeah, they're sharpening knives now. Have they committed a crime? Well, no, they just stood there sharpening their knives and putting their dinner bibs on. Yeah, well, until they've committed a crime, it's not a criminal matter. You've got to phone 101. I can't get through on 101. Yeah, well, go to the website and send an email. Right, okay, I'll send an email. Oh, hang on, my computer's not right. I need charge on my computer. That's literally living in the United Kingdom. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And, I do get... I'm not going to keep harping on about it, guys. I'm not going to keep harping on about it because I've got quite a lot to get through this morning. This is the last I'm going to mention it. Trust me, guys. Okay. Everything, all these problems that we have in the United Kingdom now, they get solved with this single thing. If we have the right to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government, and I don't think that's unreasonable to ask, guys. I don't think that is unreasonable. Everything gets solved because we can solve it ourselves. So let's consider the Bell Hotel in Epping. The people of Epping wanted it closed down. The local council agreed it should be closed down. The local member of parliament decided it should be closed down. So everybody has decided it should be closed down. The government have said no, and the police are enforcing that. Now, what happens is, if we have that legal framework to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government, we say, right, okay, well, this is the will of the people. We're going to close that hotel down ourselves. We've gone through the legal change. We've done everything that's, expected. We've met these tests. We're just going to do that ourselves. And that's what happens. They will get that closed down themselves. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hang on a minute. Michelle Albonetti is saying it's not almost funny. It is funny. That's almost funny in comparison. We have to ask them to leave nicely. It is, Look, guys, just as a show of hands, just as a show of hands, who thinks that if someone breaks into your house, you should be allowed to use lethal force to protect yourself? I, for one, I do. I know that's not the case in the United Kingdom, guys, okay? I know that's not the case in the United Kingdom. But who from me? Look, guys, it wouldn't surprise. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me, right? Do you know what wouldn't? Look, guys, I don't smoke. I don't advocate smoking. I think it's really bad for you. Can you imagine this, right? Can you just imagine this? I know this sounds wild. I know this sounds wild, but just, you know, imagine this, right? Remember, I don't smoke. I'm not advocating smoking, but I know some people do, and I don't have a problem with that. Imagine you're there smoking. You know, you're sat watching telly. It's late at night. You're having a smoke, and you know, paying like 10 quid for them or whatever. And somebody bursts in the door, a burglar, and you detain that burglar. Now, in UK law, you're not allowed to smoke in the workplace. So would it surprise anyone if some lefty lawyer actually claimed that, yes, he was burgling that house and that was illegal, but that was still his workplace, and that person was smoking in the burglar's workplace, and because he was smoking, that burglar has now fined the person who he's just robbed because he was smoking in his workplace. I mean, I know it sounds absurd, guys. I know it sounds absurd, you know. I know that sounds absurd, but like, would that, you know, would that shock anyone? It wouldn't shock me. Right, I'm going to jump onto the chat, guys, because I have been neglecting the chat for quite a bit. Right, so the unanimous decision. Slim is saying, Helen is saying, how many daughters do they need to destroy before anything is done? Helen, listen, the only way out of this problem is to get that legal framework so that we can protect ourselves. Because what happens as soon as I get the legal framework to protect ourselves, I will like instantly recruit like maybe 30, 50 ex-military guys. And that's it, then it's over. We will literally do what we want. But without that legal framework, we'll get taken down by the police. Slim is saying, it is shit. We are not even allowed to take affirmative action against someone invading our homes. We need major changes. I think the law, look, guys, I'm not a legal expert. I'm not, but I think, do you know what? I think the law in the UK, somebody Google this, guys, because I don't want to spend all time on Google. I think the law in the United Kingdom is you're not allowed to defend yourself unless they come up the stairs. I think that it's something like that. It's something crazy. So the unanimous decision is, yes, we all think we should be able to use force to defend our houses. Yes, of course. It's ludicrous, Jon. Yes, it is. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. Nick Knack is saying, hello, Nick Knack is saying, I would do any means to protect my family. I agree, Nick Knack. People would do any means to protect their family, but you would end up in jail. And you know, and because of the laws do not let you do this. Debbie Doobs is saying, I'd like to know the demographic. I've forgotten how to talk. Debbie Doobs is saying, I'd like to know the demographic of these people that have been accidentally released from jail. Yeah, or just release their names, I guess. Donna is saying, in the UK, the law on self-defense permits the use of reasonable force to protect yourselves, others, or property, or to prevent a crime. Yeah. Now, what is reasonable force? This is the thing, guys, okay? What is reasonable force? Because I don't want to use reasonable force. I want to go full lethality. I want to go from 0 to 10. Like, if somebody breaks into my house, I don't want to have to escalate and say, oh, you've broken into my house. I'm going to challenge a verbal warning. Now, after your verbal warning, if you proceed, I will escalate this by showing you my fists. You know, I don't want to go with that. You know, I don't want to go with that, guys. I just, you know, if somebody breaks into my house, I want to give him 30 in the chest. That's how I want to roll, guys. I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to go like, I don't want to just start with this reasonable, proportionate force thing. It's bullshit. It's absolutely gay. The United States permit, let me read this again. The stand your ground laws are state level laws that allow a person to use deadly force, not reasonable force, deadly force in self-defense without having to retreat. So that is, if a threat comes up to you, you don't have to back down. And I think that's fine. In the United Kingdom, it would be, right, okay, so why did you put 30 in his chest? Well, he was waving a knife. Okay, why didn't you run off? Because I'm not gay. Even in public places where they are lawfully present, they expand on upon the traditional castle doctrine, which only applies to people defecting one's home. So, they're the laws in the United Kingdom. This proportionate and reasonable force, guys, it's totally gay. It's totally homosexual. Right, guys. Right, let me continue with this, guys, because I'm just conscious of the time. Basically, they have to. The threat level it's ridiculous, and like you don't want to have to be thinking about these things. Yeah, you see, my perception of reasonable force is probably not what somebody else's is. Right, listen, guys, let me let me jump onto the rest of the things that we want to talk about today, guys. Okay, so I'll share with you guys that video again in a second. The absolute industrialization of the invasion now of the United Kingdom, like at what level. You've got to understand at what level is this being allowed to happen? This is at the highest levels now, guys. This is beyond Keir Starmer. It's beyond like the law. It's beyond the police. Whatever we are talking about, this is above and beyond, guys. Okay, this is above and beyond. And what I'm talking about is absolutely on the macro. Whatever is happening, we don't have a way to stop it. Ultimately, voting. Protesting, waving the flags, none of it's going to stop it, guys. Okay, we need to stop this ourselves, and we need the legal authority to do that. Also, the Epstein files have been released, or some of them. We were talking about this last night. The Epstein files being released, and one of the things I said is, I think this is just the beginning. Now, are these people stupid? Are they absolutely stupid? I sent two of you guys. I sent you guys books. George Orwell's George Orwell's Animal Farm. Now, those books, that's from years ago. Those books were books I used to use. Those books were books I'll say it. Those books were the books I used to use with one of my friends in Ukraine as a cipher to send encrypted messages. So if you've both got a copy of the same book and nowhere is that book written down and nowhere does anybody know what book you're talking about and nobody has any idea, that cipher is uncrackable. You can't. It's just impossible. It's not going to happen. Doesn't matter what your computer system is. Unless you know what that book is, impossible. Forget about it. It's a very old cipher. So even like I know not to send things that are even remotely sensitive electronically. WhatsApp, text messages, Signal, emails. It's all hackable. We have got like the prince sending incriminating things to Epstein, and I'm like, wow, they're either so arrogant or so stupid, or maybe both. It's unfathomable, guys. It really is unfathomable. It is absolutely unfathomable. So these emails came out. The one to me that I think is going to open up a can of whoop-ass is, I may be slightly wrong on the actual wording, but Epstein sends some. Oh my God! And do you know what his username is? Do you know what Andy Windsor or Prince Andrew's username was? The Duke. capital T, capital D, the Duke. That tickled me, guys. Honestly, that tickled me. Like last night, I was in hysterics last night. You know, he names himself the Duke. Yes, call me the Duke. I've got my cape. In fact, hang on, where's my cape? Let me get my cape on. Hello, everyone. I'm Prince Andrew, but you can call me the Duke. Honestly, these guys are crackers. These guys are mental. Let me get my cloak off. Let me get my cape off. It's not cape weather yet, guys. It's not cape weather. So, like, from the emails that have been released and from the evidence that's been released, I don't think that is enough to bring down a prince. Not even the prince of, like, you know, maybe the prince of, I don't know, some random country somewhere, maybe. But we're talking about a prince of England, you know, we're talking about the British royal family here. So I think there's a lot more evidence to come out. I think they're drip feeding it, so it's not as bang. When all this information comes out, the questions that are going to need to be answered are not the questions that people are thinking. The real questions are why. We all know, well, we all speculate from what we've heard and what we've seen. We can all speculate that there is a thing with kids. There's a thing with kids. Let's just leave it there, guys. Okay, let's just leave it there. That there's a thing with kids. All right. My next question is why? Why? Why are so many of? Why are these things so? I can't think of it. Honestly, it makes me sick. I would go batshit crazy if I saw that. I mean, honestly, guys, I would go to Takeshi Kovacs. I would. If I witnessed that, or if I was anywhere near it, I would go to Takeshi Kovacs. Absolutely, guys. So I do think this is an extension of MK Ultra. I do. I think this is an extension of MK Ultra, guys. I think there are things that we're not being told, interdimensional things that we can't even perceive yet. And I know this is going a bit further, a bit wild. And I've noticed David Icke is back on the David Icke's been let back on YouTube. I even think David Icke's barking up the wrong tree, guys. I think this is all to do with new science and new physics that's just not being understood. We've been stuck with Einsteinian physics for like 100 years, or like 100 years. E equals mc squared. Nothing can move faster than nothing moves faster than the speed of light in a vacuum. You know, where's the science gone? I do think this is all part of that, guys. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me go. Listen, guys, let me go for a wee. I'm going to come back. We're going to talk about the United States takeover, and we're going to talk about the invasion of the United Kingdom again. And I'm going to share with you guys that video again, because I know there's people jumping on now that weren't on before. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you like, comment, subscribe, share my stuff on your socials? Really does help me out, guys, when you do that. I'm going for a wee. I'll be back in. I won't be back in 3, but it sounds like I should say that. I'm going for a wee. I'll be back in 3. Welcome everyone. Thank you for sticking around. Right, I'm going to share this. I'm going to share with you guys this video again. It is important, and the reason I'm sharing it with you guys again is I think people need to understand the the absolute industrialization of this problem. Right, Donna, I will share that in a second. Let me get this video on, and then I will share that, Donna. Remind me in a sec. So let me share this with you guys now, because it really, oh god, I've missed it. Hang on. I deleted it. I can't find it. Oh, no, there. Right, I've got it. I'll share it with you now, guys. I'll share it with you now. Sorry, I deleted it, and then let me get this back up. So I'm going to share with you guys the video that I shared earlier. And I just want you guys to think, at what level has this been authorized? So if you use what happened at the Bell Hotel in Epping as a microcosm, now look at the macro. We're seeing the exact same thing.
Show you our first sequence of, well, the most damning evidence yet of the way in which these migrants are just wandering about unchallenged by the French police. Let's show you our first sequence of videos. Now you can see that these videos were taken in various locations.
Now look at these. Look at these images, guys. All right, look at these images and tell me this is not happening on an industrial level. I think in my mind I was expecting, like, migrants making their way up on their own, on boat, whatever. But this is a mass. This is an industrialized project.
In Gravelines, which is near one of the main buses, beach stops where the boats launch from, also in Grand Fort Philippe and down in Calais as well. You can see this is broad daylight as these migrants, some wearing their life jackets, others clearly openly carrying them.
Wow, look at those scenes, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. This is industrialized. This is on an industrial scale. Whatever's coming, guys, is coming, and there's no stopping it. There is no stopping it. None. We have to deal with this problem ourselves. The police are not going to help. The government certainly won't help. But by dealing with it, you'll be breaking the law and you'll get arrested. So, honestly, things are going to get a lot worse before they even remotely get better. And at some point, people, and I've been talking about this now for almost a year, people are going to have to understand, and you guys can help. You guys can help. Start that conversation with your friends and family. What legal protection, what legal framework do we have to oppose ourselves against a tyrannical government? And give them the example of the Bell Hotel in Epping.
Just wandering about, completely unchallenged. One senior maritime source that we spoke to said the very least the police should be doing is stopping them and confiscating these life jackets, because effectively these life jackets are enabling the illegal migration across the English Channel.
So I said this to you guys over a year ago. I said, look, something's going to come out about these life jackets. I've tried to buy things at scale, like thousands from a producer, and they can't manage it. And now what we've seen that direct link between the French border force, I guess, I think it's the French name, whatever, the French authorities and the British authorities exchanging these life jackets. If that is not government collaboration with these gangs, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. If if exchanging life jackets, sending those life jackets back over is not government collaboration with the people smuggling gangs, then tell me what is, guys. Somebody tell me what it is. You know, and can somebody do it objectively as well and say, look, Sean, the British government are obliged to send back those life jackets when the people have come over because those things should be burned. If somebody can tell me how, and again, look, guys, I've seen this. I saw a video, Andrew Bridgen posted it, where there was migrant rubber dinghies get loaded onto the back of an like a HGV. They didn't even deflate them. So these migrant dinghies got posted. I guess you could post them. Got put back on a low load, not a low loader, on a HGV and sent back over to France. I don't know how many times that's happening. I don't know what they were doing in France, but there's no way, there is zero way that people can say that the government are not actively encouraging this and the government are not actively involved in helping this. Like, I can see it, and I know you guys can see it. So why is it not stopping? You start going down this rabbit hole, guys.
Look at this, just wandering, large groups of them down the streets, completely unchallenged. And it's not just the fact that police are not intervening to confiscate these, to detain them, find out what their immigration status is. It's also about the increasing levels of criminality and disorder in town centres. Let's show you this next piece of video that shows just what local residents are having to put up with.
Can you imagine if you lived there? So, I don't know. Hang on.
I mean, it's like a football crowd.
Yeah, no, it is.
So, I don't know what the laws are in France, but can you imagine it? Look, guys, I don't know what the laws are in France. I'll be quite clear about that. But imagine they had the same laws in the United Kingdom. These migrants could walk into somebody's house and it's not civil and it's not a criminal offence.
Absolutely. This is the early hours of the morning in the town.
Listen to what he says now, guys. I'm going to let this video play without stopping it. I'm going to try.
Town of Gravelines, just a mile or so from the beach. This is a group of migrants who had been unable to launch their boat across to the UK. They're then chanting Allahu Akbar and clashing with the police here in Gravelines. And local residents are, absolutely terrorised. They told us that they feel completely besieged by what is going on there almost nightly. The disorder that's taking place in towns like Gravelines with these large groups that are not just clashing with the police, but they're targeting local residents as well. They're smashing up cars, local beach huts, there's graffiti everywhere. Crime rates have soared in the areas around Gravelines, Calais, Dunkirk.
So why aren't the French police clamping down on this, Mark? I mean, we've sent them how many millions of pounds? Hundreds of millions.
To some extent they are. I mean, you can see from the night.
Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have also, as the United Kingdom, we have sent 19 million to Pakistan to secure Pakistan's borders and to stop child exploitation in Pakistan.
Nighttime shots, they are challenging them in this disorder in the town centre, but then couple that with the fact that any other time they're just allowed to wander free, unchallenged in any way by the local authorities.
So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to come on to the chat. And the reason I shared that twice, because I wanted people to understand the absolute industrialization of this problem that we're facing right now. Right, okay. Let me jump onto this, guys. Right, I can't find that. Oh, hang on. Right, okay, so it's not started yet. So it's not, they've not started streaming yet. It's just, yeah, it's not on yet. I'll share this with you guys now. If there's, oh, hang on, not that one. Let me share this now. So NATO, it does look like NATO will have started a live stream. Does look like NATO have started a live stream, but there's nothing on there at the moment. So I'm just gonna leave that for now. I'll keep watching that, and if something pops up, then I will of course jump onto that. But let me get your comments, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get your comments in chat, and if something does jump up about NATO, we'll move on to it. Martin Quinn is saying they'll make you buy electric cars, then tax them clean for the planet. Is hydrogen? Yes. Hydrogen is going to be the way forwards, guys. It really is. Martin Quinn is saying the quickest thing on the planet is a migrant solicitor. They get legal aid from the UK. Rubberdingy Rapids, innit? You want to go on Rubberdingy Rapids, innit, brother? We're going on Rubberdingy Rapids. It's right good. Martin Quinn is saying they prey on children because it's the worst thing to do. And when we die, the children are still here. James is saying, Donna, you're saying about NATO Live reminded me. If the focus goes on Trumpy with Epstein, then he will start a war to distract himself away. I mean, that's a big thing, but maybe he will. Maybe he will. Maybe they're going to go into Venezuela. Maybe if the focus goes on to DJT, he's just going to go into Venezuela. That's basically the connection you get on a holiday package. And Donna is saying it's all young-aged fighting men. It is, guys. You know, this is an industrialized problem right now, guys. You know, and I'll be honest with you. I didn't realize. You know, you understand the numbers that are coming over, and as somebody said in the chat, the numbers are deflated. But when you see the industrialization of this in France, you can only imagine, can't you, guys? You know, these people now in hotels, if somebody gives them the thumbs up, if somebody gives these people the thumbs up to say, like, right, let's rise, let's go asymmetric, let's go Mad Max. It's only going to take them, you know, literally a matter of like a couple of hours for this to happen. KK is saying, I wonder where all the women, mothers, sisters, wives, and children of these men. Well, obviously, they're the peaceful men, and they left the women behind. And the look, men go to war, women and children flee war. I'm just going to leave it there. Right, guys, listen, I am going to close this down now. Oh, God. Yeah, this Soylent Green thing, it's wild. It is wild, this Soylent Green thing, guys. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. The crux of this live stream, because I've literally got like, I'll tell you how many I've got. My phone's been going crackers. Yeah, I've got 20 messages to respond to on 21. My phone's going crackers, guys. I've got work to do. I'm going to have to close this down now. It's just crackers what's happening. I don't know how to describe this other than an industrialized invasion of the United Kingdom and Europe, guys, you know, and Europe, of course. Also, the Epstein files have been released. That's going to have a direct effect on the royal family. I don't think we're going to see a King William. I think King Charles. And, you know, I saw a video the other day. I think it was on TikTok. I can't remember. I think it was on TikTok. And there was some guy, he had his burial. He was a veteran. He had his, like, you know, I don't know if you can see my burial there, like there. He had his burial on, and he had his, he had his blazer on with his medals. And he said something, and I said it to you guys as well. He said, is there any veterans out there when they came to sing the national anthem, they just couldn't do it? And I was like, yeah, I couldn't do it, guys. I could not, you know when the national anthem starts up and he says, God save, I couldn't do it. I could not do it because I knew that I couldn't say king. I just couldn't say it. I thought I couldn't say that. And, I used to, if it was God Save the Queen, I would absolutely have thrown that out. I would have belted that out, guys. I would have belted that out a cappella. I can remember once actually it was in Dover Castle and it was Remembrance Day. And let me guys let you into a little secret. When you're in the military and you have to do the Remembrance Day parade, the night before you are like absolutely wasted. I mean, like, you're upside down, you can't walk, you can't talk. You're trying to, you're trying to put your foot in, you're trying to put your foot in some Rice Krispies thinking it's your boot or something, and you're wasted. I can remember being in Dover Castle. You have to sing the hymns. And the sergeant major at the time, he stood up. He was so angry. He stopped everyone. I said, right, stop. He said, I want everybody to start singing. This is embarrassing. If nobody starts singing, everybody's on extra duties. And we got told off in the church for not singing. But anyway, they were great days, guys, great days. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now because I've got about 24 messages I need to respond to. The crux is that, guys, okay? I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to go through it all again, okay? Industrialized invasion of the United Kingdom. In fact, I think I'm going to focus on that more tonight, guys, and I'm going to get more videos to share with you guys because I don't know of any other way to describe this. I have said we're heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale. You guys can see it now. The future of warfare is not high tech, it's low tech, it's Mad Max, it's asymmetric. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with me this morning. Don't forget to share this stuff, guys. Share my stuff on your socials and start that national conversation going. What legal framework do we have to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government? I'll see you guys later.